Want to do? Do you want to go down to 2 plates and do some pause squats?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good idea.
Squat, it's getting the weight back on your back, and then each week increase it a little bit again.
It sucks how quick it goes away, but it should come back fast. I guess I did just cut 30 pounds too.
It does goes away if you don't do it, but it doesn't come back right away. You kind of got it, and then it's like, oh, okay, each week you're like, oh, that's lighter than last week, you know. Hey, Dean. So the real big thing to remember is wherever you set your feet at, right, and wherever you point your toes, make sure that your knee is following the tip of your toe. So wherever you point your toes at, that's where you want your knee to go. Hey, Dean, push your right knee out a little bit to follow your right toe. That right knee needs to follow that right foot. The right knee follows your right toe. Now push your knees apart. Just slowly push your knees apart. He looked pretty good up until the point that his knees started to fall apart on him. So I think it was kind of like probably getting tired. But your right knee is doing this a little bit on you. So you got to kind of concentrate on driving your knees apart. So when you go down, that your right knee follows where your right toe is pointed. What was happening is your knees kind of caving in a little bit. So you just got to kind of make a conscious effort to drive them apart. And hey, something I noticed that you're doing is the outside of your heel is rolling in. Does that make sense? Like when you're squatting down at the bottom, the outside of your heel is lifting up, like it's twisting up, like this. Does that make sense? Maybe try and kind of claw your foot in a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like try to dig the outside edge of your, like kind of almost like eagle claw your toes into the floor a little bit. And you might find that you're loading the outside edge of your foot a little bit more. And then that might balance out your foot a little bit more.
That makes sense.
What's that?
That makes sense. I felt my heel coming up on the left.
Yeah. So driving your knees apart helps, right? But if you're not really kind of clawing your foot in, then you're probably not engaging your glutes quite the same way. So if you stand there and like claw your feet in, you probably feel your glutes engage a little bit more, right? Yeah. And then do it without clawing your toes in, and you probably don't feel your glutes engage as much, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you can kind of claw your feet in, you'll engage your glutes a little bit more. And engaging your glutes a little bit more, it'll drive your knees out a little bit more. I mean, they all steer the ship, right? So it's like you could engage your glutes, and that might drive your knees out a little bit more, and that might get you squatting on the outside edge of your foot a little bit more. Or if you claw your toes in a little bit more, that might get you engaging your glutes a little bit more and drives your knees out, you know?
I think I need to engage my glutes more.
Yep, right.
To do it before I start.
And fair enough. See what I'm saying? Yeah. But like I'm saying, they all kind of steer the ship, right? So it's like, to drive your knees out, you're going to have to engage your glutes a little bit more, right? To claw your feet in, you're going to have to engage your glutes a little bit more, rather than just go, okay, I'll engage my glutes, right? Because you can say, oh, I'm going to engage my glutes, but are you really engaging your glutes? You know what I mean? Yeah. So kind of those three things in conjunction will kind of have you engaging your glutes properly, I guess you might say, right?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I could tell I was getting sloppy on like by the third rep on that one. I could feel my heels come
Kind
up
of curling,
when I came
kind of
down.
lifting, yeah. And that's because you're
Oh yeah.
and that's because you're not, you know. The chain's kind of not complete. Does that make sense?
Huh?
Like that chain is not quite complete. Like you can say, like I said, you could say, hey, engage your glutes more, but that doesn't necessarily going to mean that it drives your knees out and makes your feet kind of claw in. So it's kind of all three. If you think of those three things together, then
Yeah, that makes sense.
you know what I mean? It's the same as like telling someone, do a lat pull. Okay, pull with your elbow. Okay, yeah, pull with your elbow, but why are you pulling with your elbow? Well, you're trying to engage your lat, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if I engage my lat, does that necessarily mean I'm pulling with my elbow? No, I can be pulling with my hand, right? So you kind of got to do them in conjunction with, right? Which one steers the ship? Is it pulling with my elbow that steers the ship? Well, not necessarily, you know. Is it pulling with if I pull with my lat, I could be pulling with my hand too, though, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like all those things kind of at the same time kind of fires that chain off, you know what I mean?